Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm just going to do a flip through of this book and half of another one. But I've been painting in my books here lately, and just a little bit, scattered everywhere. So I thought I would do this koi fish on the front of here, and I was going to do the inside here and did not. And plus I usually will paint this side, and I need to put January 2023 when I started this one, and usually I do this side and tape it back together, but I just did not get that far. But you all probably remember the front of this book, which we won't take too much time in, before I changed over to painting in my book. And y'all remember this page, and I've still not put anything on it. I was going to put some like Mad Hat or something, and never did get there. And may get back into Mad Hatter. And then here's where I started introducing paint. And then I started saying, I think I might paint some more. And then I started doing the watercolors. And, just stuff off Pinterest. And just pulling birds off of Pinterest. And what have you, and making backgrounds with torn paper. This one here I intended to put more on and never did. So here's where I really started finding stuff I liked on Pinterest. And just how we all try to mimic people's paintings and what have you. And I do like clowns, and that's not been a thing always of mine. I just hear it recently. And I believe y'all remember this video. And this one also, but this is where I skip around in my book. And I done this little vase after I done the with the coffee filters in the background, glued them down, and then glued down like pieces of thick paper. I think I done the thick paper and then glued this over top of it, so when I pushed it down it would leave that impression, and then went around it with the Stabilo. And here's some more pictures off of Pinterest that I mimicked. And, a couple out of my magazine. Here was, the video I done this one on of the flower vase. Did a video on that one. And then y'all remember I did my flamingo. And my two peppers. And I believe this was a mop-up page. I just was trying to use the gray, so I just put a bunch of circles down and really didn't know what to do with it for a while. And I love this page, even though when I put it together, this page here stuck to that page. So I thought it even made it more interesting. It was just meant to be. Just like my dog behind me is just scratching away to town. I love my little fish here. And this was another mop-up page where I just had some black paint left over, and I stuck my brush in some water and just kept going up and down on the page. And then I didn't know what to do with this page for a while, so I just had some turquoise left over. So that was the start of everything. I thought, what would go with these two colors? And I do like drawing glass every now and then. I know it's a little difficult, but I just like the challenge of it, I guess you could say. Here's my 2 apples, which I draw fruit all the time too. And, you know, I've seen someone's picture on Pinterest, and I like the way it looked. And this here, you know, was another, the background is actually a mop-up page. And I'm drawing, I wouldn't say all the time, teapots, but I got a couple teapots up in my room that I've painted. And you can see here where it's stuck together, which I left it. It just gives it that much more interest. You can tell this is my slices of lemon. And then I think part was watercolor. Then I went back over it with a little bit of acrylic. Then I went around it with, you know, my micron pens, which I took the thinnest pen you can get, like maybe a number 8 or even a fine pen. And another Pinterest inspired picture, which I like doing these also. Another one, which I've debated about going around each one of those. Here was another one. And you can see where I had actually started putting baby powder on my pictures. This one here began sticking together. This here is just a bunch of, you know, papers that, you know, I'll put behind here to paint a page. So I took a bunch of papers that had already paint on them, and I just sliced them up. But, you know, it was another Pinterest-inspired picture, and I said, I'll use mine. And I just stuck the baby powder on it, and that's where you get all these little weird effects. Another for Pinterest. I love the colors. I love the colors in this fish. Just some watercolors. Trying to do a bird. This was another mop-up page where I just had leftover yellow, I think, and I just was making flowers of it until I just used it all up. And then, you know, I just had to think of something else to put on it, and I finally found a picture that kind of mimicked what I've already had down. So all I had to do was go around with a micron pen and, you know, do some highlights and stuff. And I don't know where this page come from. I think I was just lazy that day and thought, well, I'll just, I think what it was, I had some watercolor left over, so I put it down, and I put these 2 pictures down. So that's the way it stayed for about a month or so, just the watercolor and these 2 pictures. So I never knew what to do with it. So I said, I'll just stamp all over it with my stamps and color them in. And I happened to find these 2 pics. And then I ended up with this butterfly, as you can see. And that's where my book finally just tore apart, which, you know, I had already pulled pages out of it. It's just it finally snapped, and I said, well, I'm just going to leave it. It's the last page. And hang on, I got this one over here that I'm going to finish up. I got probably half, a little less than half a book, because this is the one I started pulling the pages out of to make that journal. So I said, even if we get knocked down off our feet, it won't be for long. And this, you know, I just put a bunch of brownish looking squares out of my magazines, and, you know, just finished off with that big old flower and the girl that was falling. And this one was actually my idea. I happened to see this girl, this big old boot, this big old pocketbook, and a big old hat. Now, I just thought I'd put those together, but I thought I'll just take a bunch of, you know, same idea with a bunch of same colored squares. I just thought I would cut anything blue out of that one magazine that I was still cutting out of, everything that was blue, and just put it down on here randomly. And then I added the purple squares. And this was kind of my idea. I cut out everything that was green in the magazine and put it down, and then found really, you know, once I put down all the green squares, I found this, supposed to have been the lady artist, I think Frida. I guess, where did Ada come from? Frida, and I found that, you know, statue of David, so I replaced her head with that head, and then I knew these would pop against this color. And then someone else had like put all one combination, like all red down the bottom, and I put all my blues and greens at the top. And then they had made these legs out of random pieces of paper, and I really loved that idea. Like, this was just random background pages, and then these were 2 bracelets. I think this was an arm, this was part of a dress, and then this is the wording, and this here, the shoe, was part of a cologne ad. So I cut it out to make my little Mary Jane's, and this is supposed to be like her foot's rolled over, so this is the bottom of the shoe. So I, you know, took the Posca pins. Here's my granddaughter's crazy dog. I just happened to have that on my phone. I said, let me draw this crazy dog. And this one here, I just put a bunch of underpants on the background, you know, and colored it with, I think, 3-4 different colors of green. Then I took my dilutions, like the purple and the dark blue, and just sprayed all around this right here, because I knew I was going to be drawing this. And you can kind of see the shimmer up here. I think this is about all that's left, is this little bit up here. But I thought after I drew it in, I thought I would go back and do like a negative effect. You know, you take away what you don't want. And then here I had someone had done something with, looks like gold leaf effect, but this wasn't quite gold leaf. But I did have a piece of paper that mimicked the gold leaf, so I thought I would try it. And then they had a bunch of bright flowers, and I thought, well, I have Sherry's Thin Lit, so I thought I would put those all over. And here's some of my stamps that I had. And there's this bird that I drew probably 4 or 5 years ago. I did a painting on this big old bird, but my son finally took it. I told him he could have it, and it popped back up on Pinterest, and I said, let me try to draw that crazy bird again. And then here's some of my stamps that I had that I was going to put in that little white Dina book. And these birds here are from Pinterest. And my little flock of birds, I said sometimes you just gotta say flock it. Crazy little birds. This was a mop-up page. I put the 3 little hearts down, and it stayed that way for a couple weeks till I found something to do with that page. And y'all remember this one here I did on a video, but I had done this vase here You've seen this in the other book. I just did a bigger version of it here. I just really love the colors of it and the challenge of it. And I think that's it. That was this here book. I think some of you may remember it. And this was the one where I thought I was going to start out with all white backgrounds, and that was the theme of this whole book. And you remember I finished this one here of the lady, and then I had done some of these cards from my magazine, What Women Create, I think. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and if you could, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and as always, see you tomorrow.